Hey, welcome back to the Crabby Dice. Today we're looking at the expansion for Dungeon Pets called Dark Alleys. So this video I'm just going to talk about what's in the box, how to set it up, and what it adds to the game. Click on the link below for all the base game content, including the rules and the playthrough. Before we get started, please like, subscribe, and comment on my videos. That would be great. Let's get started. Alright, so the major aspect of this expansion is the Dark Alley board with the industrial zone here, but I'll talk about that last. I'll just talk about random stuff that was added to the game box that you should play with every single time. So the first thing we're going to talk about are the new pets. Look at all these new beautiful pets. They're adorable. Just a couple of things to note. They all have a special power now instead of being a generic pet. So you're going to have to look at the book to sort of understand how they all work. The iconography is not the best on them. And you're also going to notice that they have a pre-printed need to offset their special power. So their age 2 will always show 3 and so on. Their age 3 will always show 4 needs. So they do give you more money in the long run, so it sort of offsets that. But that's something to keep an eye on, that they're more needy, these ones. Alright, there you go. Those are new pets. Just toss them into the regular game and play with them. Other things that were added, there's new artifacts. I'm not a gigantic fan of the gift box. It allows you to copy somebody else's artifact, so it removes the uniqueness of every artifact in the game. I tend to not want to play with this one. There's also the super book here. Instead of picking between two colors, pick any color you want when drawing an extra card. That's fine. And the hat is actually pretty cool. I really like it. It adds a 0.5 to a imp group, so you can actually go before everyone else. So it's a little powerful. It might not seem like it, but it really is. So there's that. What else is there in the game box? There's 2 new cages. My favorite new cage in the game. Super versatile. You can just basically think of it like it has a modifier of 2. So you can assign 2 to anything. So you can have 2 strength, 0 magic, and 0 disease. Or you can have 0 strength, 2 magic, or 0 disease. Or 1 strength, 1 disease, 0 magic. Very versatile. So whatever pet comes down, you can really do some awesome stuff with this. And then there's just a mud pit that's good for poop and playing, which is pretty cool. Alright, 2 new customers. I really like them because they don't have any negative values besides depression here, so I like to always play with these 2. Really good additions. We got a couple more exhibitions. Nothing special going on with them, just toss them into the regular game. And I think last is there's just a couple more add-ons. These deal with more money. So if you have a lot of money, you can pay to remove certain cubes. That one lets you remove anything. Sorry, that lets you satisfy anything, including magic, which is really good. And this one allows you to remove depression and mutations, which is another great add-on. Alright, some of those are my favorite add-ons too. Alright, next, for the setup. They do give you extra imps and money. What I would suggest, whether you're playing with the expansion or not, always start with the extra imp and extra dollar. So you're going to start with 7 and 3 instead of 6 and 2. I really love this addition. It makes the groups larger and you won't have that many ties, and it makes people want to bid more. Really awesome addition. Always play with this even if you're not playing with the expansion board. Alright. Next, before we talk about the Dark Alley, there is a new progress board add-on here. This is if you want to play an extra round. Do I suggest it? If you really like the game, sure, why not? If you know how to play, make it an extra round. It'll probably last the same amount of time as new players playing the base game. So you're going to lay this on top of the old board just to cover up that spot. So for example, in a 2 and 3 player game, the 6 is going to cover the 6, and you're going to see that it just adds another round. Alright, the 4 player side here, same concept. You're going to put the 5 over the 5, and then you have the 6th round here. Now, you don't have to play with this, like I mentioned. If you don't, there are a couple of things here that score because the facilities here. What you do is, I would just tuck this underneath the board here, just to show what the new scoring endgame is going to be instead of using this one. Alright, so if you're not playing with the added round, just tuck it underneath, and you should be fine. Alright, now let's talk about the Dark Alleys. Alright, the first thing we're going to have to talk about is how to set up this Dark Alley board. Alright, so just like the main board, you have 2 sides. One for 2 and 3 players, which has the arrows, and the other side's for 4 players. So if you're playing 2 or 3 players, the neutral imp is going to start on the fortune teller, and in a 2-player game, there's going to be also one on the black market space here. Alright, So what else do you need to do to set up? Let's look at the industrial zone first. You're gonna have 6 tiles, shuffle them together, play them all below the board here, and flip over the first tile. All right, that's gonna be for the first round, and every single round you're gonna be flipping one of these over. For the slug shop over here, just flip over 3 random ones and put the other accessories next to the board. And finally, for the black market, what you're gonna do is take one of every single tile in the game and basically just put them on the game board here. So you're gonna have 1 accessory, 1 add-on, 1 exhibition, 1 cage, 1 pet, and the bodyguard, a special piece that came in the expansion. All right, don't forget to add the coin on top of each, and that is just a reminder that I'll talk about in a couple of seconds. All right, let's talk about the rules for the Dark Alley board. So there's going to be 4 new worker placement spots added with this board. All right, so you have the black market here, which is the black space. You have the slug shop here, which is the orange space. You have the fortune teller here, which is the multicolor, and then you have the industrial zone here, which is the gray space. All right, let's talk about these all one by one. I'll talk about the industrial zone first because I forgot to mention something during the setup. You're gonna add everyone's gonna have a permission tile here, and you're gonna add it to the entrance. Okay, now by taking this action or by putting a group of imps there, what you're going to do is move your permission tile to the most recent flipped over tile. So every round we're going to be flipping over a new tile. So let's just pretend this is the 3rd round of the game, and I'll move my permission tile, whether it was at the beginning or already on a tile, to the latest one. I'll teach you why in a couple seconds, but first, after doing this, you get to perform one of the actions displayed on the board. All right, so you can get to do the first one, second one, or third one. They're all mentioned in the rule book, but you turn in money for something, turn in food for something, or turn in an imp for something. Those are the 3 types of actions. All right, all of these types of actions, the resources need to come from your treasury board and not from the spots or worker placement spots you've already had laid out on the board. All right, now the second thing that this gives you is there's a new rule or a new phase in the game. Okay, so now after doing business with the customers, you're able to perform an action from the industrial zone depending on where your permission tile is. So if your permission tile is here, you can do any action from the first one up to that permission tile. So let's say it's the 4th round of the game. I would not be able to perform this action because my permission tile had not reached this tile. Okay, same thing goes if it's the 5th round, the 6th round, and I never moved over my permission tile, I can still only perform actions 1, 2, and 3. All right, so that's what it gives you. So by going there, you get to move up your permission tile, you get to do an action, and now in phase 5, during the business phase, when we're moving our imps and doing stuff, you can also do another industrial zone action. Okay, so it goes without saying that if you never move your permission tile over, so let's say we're nearing the end of the game and red never took this action, well, during phase 5 he would never be able to perform any of these actions. Okay, so that's everything you need to know about the industrial zone. I'll talk about the fortune teller next. The first thing you're going to do is remove a coin from the black market. I'll talk about that during the black market action, but that's the first thing you're going to do. It essentially just lowers the cost of an item that's going to be in the black market. All right. The second thing you're going to do at the fortune teller is look at any of the unrevealed tiles that are on the progress board. All right, so you can look at an exhibition or a customer that's yet to be revealed. All right, and that's basically what its power is. It's not that interesting if you're playing with a variant where you're flipping over more tiles, but that's what it does. All right, next we're going to talk about the slug shop. So for this one here, you're going to do 2 things. First, you're going to take one of these accessories. So let's say you take the yellow one, and you're going to put it on your cage board. All right. What accessories do is you're able, during the 3rd phase of the game, which is drawing the need cards and assigning them to pets, you can assign accessories to pets to give them an extra color to or need, right? So for example, this clam now, we need 2 yellow, a purple, and a green. All right, because I added this. And that's what it does. So it adds more needs to pets so that you can try to get higher scores on exhibitions and on customers, because you'll be able to get more of those icons. All right. Just an added note that every turn you can reassign this accessory between pets. So let's say you have another pet, you can reassign this to another pet. And the second note is that if you ever sell a pet that had an accessory, the accessory is going to go with the pet, but you'll make $1 as a reward or as a difference. Okay, so you'll lose the accessory, but you'll make $1 from the bank. Now, the second thing you're going to do on the slug shop is you're going to take back any imp that you have on the board as long as there's more than one remaining on that spot. So for example, let me take an extra imp here. If I had an imp group of at least 2 on any spot on the board, so let's say the black market, I'd be able to return one of my imps back to my home board to use in phase 5. Okay, I wouldn't be able to do that on an imp by itself because it would free up the space, which is not allowed. It needs to still have a blocked space, so represented by your token, and you'll just take back another one into your possession. And finally, we get to the black market space, which is the black space over here. All right, so easy enough. By going here, you get to take any of the objects above the board. Okay. If there is a coin present, you need to pay 1 coin from your treasury, so not from the space or any worker placement space that you have on the board. It has to come from your treasury, and then you get to take the item. So let's say I wanted to take this add-on. I would pay a coin to the bank from my treasury. Then I could discard this coin because the reminder is gone, and then I'd be able to take this tile and put it on my cage board. All right, they all work the same way. Now, remember I said before that you get to remove a coin here. Well, let's say this coin was removed. Well, then if you're taking a black market action here, you can actually take this item without having to pay a coin. It's free. Alright, and these are just different things that you can get. You can get an artifact, an add-on, a cage, a pet. You can actually get a pet. This pet never ages. And a couple of extra notes is that the cage here, you don't actually need to send 2 imps to carry this cage. That's fine. For the exhibition, you're actually going for the food. So you're going to take one of these 3 options from the general supply and add it to your personal board. Okay. And the last thing to talk about is this bodyguard. So it's a little grayish imp. So this guy will just join your crew. All right, so when you send the group out, he's gonna join a group to make them bigger. So this group of 2 now becomes a group of 3. Some rules for this bodyguard imp. He never wants to do anything during phase 5, so you can't send him out to do work or clean up poop. So he's literally only added to imp groups so that they're bigger when doing actions on the board. All right. Also, he can't be sent alone. He's a bodyguard, right? So you have to send him with other imps of your color. And that is everything, or all the rules in regards to this expansion. And there you have it. That's everything in the expansion and all the rules. What are my thoughts? I really love this expansion. It's a must play. I play with it pretty much every time. The only part of the expansion I might not play with is the progress board, because it depends on the time. So depending on how much time I have left to the game night, I might play it or I might not play it. It does add about 20-30 minutes to the game, which for some people is a lot, so you can always play without it. The industrial zone, I really love it. It's a great add-on. It gives you free stuff that you can do at the, well, not free, but you can do stuff at the end of phase 5. And overall, if you found that the base game didn't offer enough worker placement spots, because there really isn't that many, maybe a dozen or so, this will add an extra 4. And you feel like you're doing more stuff on the board and not keeping your imps back just to clean up poop or whatever. You actually can do that with special actions and stuff and be more efficient, because it cleans 2 poop, for example, here for a coin, and you can save your food by canning your food, and it's just a great expansion. Okay, yeah, play with the new stuff. I play with it all the time. So the new pets, just play with them all in there. New exhibitions, the new add-ons, the new cages, the new customers, pretty much are an auto include every time. If you don't want to teach the expansion board here, alright, then don't play with it. Get a couple of games under your belt, then play with this expansion board. It does add a couple of more hiccups into the game. And there you go. That's what I would do. And lastly, the progress board I already mentioned. Don't play with it every time. Just look at the clock. If you got time, play with it. If not, don't play with it. You do end up with a lot higher scores. I gotta say, if you're playing an extra round, keep that in mind because you're gonna sell an extra 2 pets. So there's also a race to get more pets because you get 2 and 2 instead of just 1, 1, 2. So keep that in mind. So getting more pets is actually a viable strategy. And there you go, that's the expansion. Click the link below for the base game content. I'm not going to do a playthrough for this because it doesn't add that much to the game. It's just going to be more worker placement spots. So if you do want one, just write in the comments below. Maybe I'll do it. Alright, see you in the next one.